will remind our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Hello everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon. So today is Wednesday, and every Wednesday we focus on an issue that relates to your health and well-being. And I was sort of, tossed between a couple of topics that we could cover today. One I was considering was heat injury, because boy, it's hot out there, and you really ought to be very, very careful, especially if you have to work outdoors. I don't know if you guys saw a video that made the rounds on, I think it was U.S. television news, with a UPS delivery man passing out on somebody's porch because of the intense heat. And I learned that UPS delivery trucks don't have any air conditioning. Can you imagine? And the company's response was, when asked by the media after that video went viral, why don't you have air conditioning in the trucks for these guys who are out in this hot, in the heat? And their response was, well, because there's so many frequent stops, that's not practical. So it's practical for you to have somebody die from heat stroke while delivering your packages? Anyway, I digress. So I decided not to do that today. What I ended up deciding on was a condition that is plaguing us here in the Bahamas and really people around the world. But, we have a propensity in this country to do everything extra, including being sick. And unfortunately, that is the case as it relates to the topic that we're going to be discussing today. So, you know the drill. My whole approach is from an holistic standpoint, and we're going to be talking about how you can actually reverse this condition, regardless of what you've been told, if you take an holistic approach. So I am talking about today kidney disease. Kidney disease. And if you don't have kidney disease, chances are you know somebody who does. Because we have a huge problem in this country with people who are battling kidney disease. Many of them are battling kidney disease because of other conditions that have resulted in them having kidney disease, developing kidney disease, conditions like diabetes, conditions like high blood pressure, both known to contribute significantly to the development of kidney disease. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you know anyone, if you or anyone that you know is battling any stage of kidney disease, whether it's early onset, whether it's what they call end stage, please listen to the show, like and share the show, call that person up on the phone or however you reach them, send a smoke signal if you have to, and let them know that they need to tune in to this show. Because you're going to get some information here that you are generally not hearing from mainstream. And if you are willing to open your mind, particularly if you are going through this, to understand that you do have alternatives, then I think that you will find this show to be beneficial to you. I say it all the time. Believe the diagnosis. If the doctor tells you that you are suffering with kidney disease, or, don't walk out the office and say the doctor trying to put kidney disease on you. Don't blame that on the doctor. Don't blame the messenger for giving you the message, because the doctor ain't had nothing to do with the lifestyle choices you made to end up in that condition. So don't blame the doctor for what you did or did not do. Believe the diagnosis, because you cannot fix what you do not acknowledge. So that's the first step in reversing kidney disease is accepting the fact that you have it and not sticking your head in the sand and hoping it just magically disappears. That's step number one. After you have gotten over that, and I know it's hard, but after you have gotten over that, after you've gotten past that hurdle, the next step for you to do is to not lose hope. Believe the diagnosis, but don't believe the prognosis. Because chances are, especially if you find yourself facing end stage, you're going to be told you have very little options. Your only option is dialysis for the rest of your life, or a kidney transplant, or die. That's not necessarily true. And I have seen with my own experience persons who are at end stage renal failure on the list to have a kidney transplant, obviously on dialysis, transplant surgery already scheduled, and they come across our program and surgery has to be canceled. Kidney disease reversed. Doctors left it shock and awe. Because as far as they're concerned, that is not possible. I'm not telling you what anything has been told to me or what I read about. I'm talking about my own experience with clients that I've dealt with, where they were literally scheduled for surgery and started the program, and kidneys start working again, and doctors are in shock. They're like, I don't understand how this could be. It could only be a miracle. You got a miracle. Well, God is still in the miracle working business, but he often uses human beings to work through for that miracle to happen. The word says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. I dare say that is especially true when it comes to your health. People are perishing for a lack of knowledge because they are being told that these are your only options, and they're holding on to that. And unfortunately, some of them do end up passing on. Others are, quote unquote, lucky enough to get a transplant, but spend the rest of their lives taking medication to get their bodies not to reject their new organ. Others spend countless hours of their lives chained to a dialysis machine, which limits their ability to do anything else. So we're going to be talking about this today. And again, I'm going to provide information for you guys today that if you open your eyes and heart and mind and are willing to, not believe the prognosis you've been given, I want you to know that there is hope, that kidney disease can be reversed. So if you have any questions, let me throw out the numbers early on, because I want to encourage you to ask questions if you do have any. The numbers are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for you to send us a message, not to call, but to send a message, is 8010271, 8010271. That's the WhatsApp line. So, chronic kidney disease, also called chronic kidney failure, involves a gradual loss of kidney function. Your kidneys filter waste and excess fluids from your body, which are then removed in your urine. Advanced chronic kidney disease can cause dangerous levels of fluid, electrolytes, and waste to build up in your body. And if you are unable to get them out of your body, eventually your system will become so toxic that you could die. And so persons who find themselves in this position have to rely, when they get especially to that end stage, on machinery that does what their kidneys are supposed to do. It's called dialysis. In the early stages of chronic kidney disease, you might have a few signs or symptoms. You may not even realize that you have kidney disease until the condition becomes advanced. So it's really important that you are in tune with your body, so that if there are some changes that you should pay attention to, you don't just ignore them. Back in the day, only older people used to get kidney failure, and so it was thought to be a disease of aging. But that we now know is not true, because people younger and younger are coming down with chronic kidney failure. Yeah, I'm talking kids in this country on dialysis, children. Several of my clients are in their late 20s, early 30s, late stage kidney failure. So clearly, this is not about age. That's a myth that needs to be done away with, because we're seeing too many young people nowadays who are battling with kidney failure. So the first thing we need to do is we need to understand what is chronic kidney disease.
The kidneys are two bean-shaped organs, each about the size of a fist. They're located just below the rib cage, one on each side of your spine. Healthy kidneys filter your blood, maintaining a healthy balance of water, salts, and minerals, while expelling waste as urine. Without this balance, nerves, muscles, and other tissues stop working normally and can eventually fail. This is called chronic kidney disease, and it's a growing global problem. In the U.S., a third of Americans are at risk, and age is a major factor. More than half of Americans over 75 are thought to have some sort of kidney damage. Other risks include high blood pressure, diabetes, and family history. So what happens when the kidneys stop performing their job? Unless a donor kidney can be found for a transplant, patients with kidney failure require dialysis. When your kidneys fail, dialysis keeps your body in balance by removing waste, salt, and extra water to prevent them from building up in the body, keeping a safe level of certain potassium, sodium, and other chemicals in your blood, helping to control blood pressure. Dialysis can be done in a hospital, in a dialysis center, or at home. There are two different types of dialysis, hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis. They both do the same thing, clean the blood of wastes and excess fluids. In hemodialysis, your blood is pumped out of your body through an artificial kidney and back. Blood goes out dirty and comes back clean. Peritoneal dialysis uses the inside lining of your abdomen as a natural filter, with cleaning fluids pumped in and out via catheter. This process must be completed frequently and can sometimes take 3 to 4 hours a session, several times a week. Dialysis does not cure kidney disease, and in the case of end-stage kidney failure, a patient must remain on dialysis until a new kidney can be found. Advances in dialysis treatment mean that many patients can continue to live their lives and receive treatment anywhere life takes them, though disparities abound, particularly in the US. Studies show that despite having higher rates of kidney disease, racial and ethnic minorities often struggle to afford dialysis. They also wait longer for transplants than their white counterparts. Meanwhile, the dialysis industry has evolved from the small independent clinics of the 1970s into a massive for-profit industry that some critics say is rife with potential conflicts.
So here in the Bahamas, until recently, the government, at least here in New Providence at the main hospital, the Princess Margaret Hospital, has been trying to provide dialysis free for patients in need, but they have since said we can't continue to foot this bill all on our own, and you're going to have to pay a nominal fee to get the dialysis that you need. And people were complaining about what they were charging, but I have to tell you, I visited Abaco some years ago where there's a private dialysis clinic. And just for the record, I don't know what's going on in Abaco. This was before Dorian, but there's a lot of kidney failure in Abaco to the degree where they have their own private dialysis clinic there. I don't know if it's still there after Dorian. I'm really not sure. And it is extremely expensive what people have to pay to get that treatment. And you heard in the report, 3 to 4 hours each session. Some people have to go in as frequently as 3 times a week. And so it makes it very, very difficult for persons who have to stay on this treatment to actually do anything else. It's difficult unless they have, some special arrangement going on to hold on to a job. It makes it's almost like you're chained to this machine that is doing the work of what your kidney should be doing. And it is not a comfortable process either. Persons who go through dialysis will tell you it is a most unpleasant experience. So the thing is that many people who are stuck in this process really have been convinced that they have no other choice. And that is not exactly true. And so again, I want you to listen to this show, particularly if you are a kidney patient with an open mind. And for the record, a disclaimer, I'm not suggesting that you do not listen to your doctors as it relates to the treatment. I'm not suggesting that once you get this information, you just up and quit dialysis. That would be reckless and foolish. And if you did that, you probably would die. But we're talking about incorporating a naturopathic nutritional approach to aid your body in being able to do naturally what that machine is now doing, to the degree where you can be weaned by your medical professional off of the dialysis machine. That's the goal. So I want to put that disclaimer out there that I'm not suggesting that you throw caution to the wind and say, well, there's a way to do this naturally, so I ain't checking for y'all no more. That's like a death wish, okay? Because you heard that that machine is doing a very important work of trying to clean up your blood. And unless you find a way to clean up your blood, you will die. So I just needed to put that disclaimer out there, that we're not suggesting that this protocol that we recommend should replace dialysis. You do this in conjunction with what you're doing and allow your doctors to wean you off of dialysis. And I have to tell you, the experience that I have had with clients who, after about a month and a half on the program, was able to come off of dialysis and have a surgery canceled. She said to me, and I hear this very often from the patients that I'm assisting do this. She said her doctors said to her as they, ran tests, etc., I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, keep doing it. I hear that so often when it comes to this. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, keep doing it, because they will be able to see the progress that you make as you follow this protocol. Now, the protocol requires two things. Definitely specific nutrition, but also a change in your eating habits. Because I dare say that in probably all cases, that kidney failure has a major part of what led to that is your dietary choices. I'm telling you. We can't get away from that. There is no one without the other. There's no magic pill that you can pop while you continue to damage your body and expect to be well. So we're going to talk about both. We're going to talk about the nutritional side, and we're going to talk about the dietary side of what you should not be consuming if you are dealing with kidney failure. Because let's face it, let's say you decide to not listen to the advice that's going to be given on the show today, and you are lucky enough to get a kidney transplant. If you don't change the habits that led you to that kidney failing in the first place, then you still have a problem running the risk of kidney failure again. So it is extremely important that you understand that if you don't change that, then you're looking to set yourself up for failure. Dietary changes are, for the most part, very necessary in this, because oftentimes it's that diet that contributed to the condition in the first place. Very seriously. So, according to the Mayo Clinic, treatment for chronic kidney disease focuses on slowing the progression of kidney damage, usually by controlling the cause. But even controlling the cause might not keep kidney damage from progressing, according to the Mayo Clinic. And we'll believe the diagnosis, but not necessarily the prognosis. They say chronic kidney disease can progress to end-stage kidney failure, which is fatal without artificial filtering or dialysis or a kidney transplant. So, we're going to spend some time going deep into explaining how the kidneys function, because in that clip that we played a minute ago, that pretty much gave us an overview. But we're going to go deeper into the function of the kidneys and the whole system, and what happens when things go wrong. We're going to go deep into that, because I need you to understand the science behind what has caused your problem before we dive into what you have done to contribute to that. I think it's important for you to understand the problem itself from a scientific perspective or from a biological perspective. And then we're going to dive into what you can do to avoid it or reverse it. Okay? The telephone numbers once again to call, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272. 3260272 and our WhatsApp line 8010271. 8010271 is the number. Jason, you ain't giving the WhatsApp on. Is the number to send us a WhatsApp message if you so desire. And again, if you have a question as it relates to kidney disease, that is our topic today. We're not going to be entertaining questions as it relates to any other condition unless it is related to kidney disease, such as hypertension that can lead to kidney disease or diabetes that can lead to kidney disease. But like I said, once we go into these next two clips, you will get a very clear understanding of how it all works as it relates to hypertension, diabetes, and kidney disease. And it's really important, particularly if you have one of those two conditions, that you do not ignore them, because it's a vicious triangle where one affects the other, which affects the other. And long-term ignorance or long-term, sticking your head under the sand, pretending it's not there, is not doing you any good, because your body, if it's going through that degeneration, if it's going through that challenge, ignoring it is only compounding the problem, because the problem is getting worse and worse and worse. And by the time you finally do decide to do something about it, it may be, so far gone. I think of my former colleague when I used to work at ZNS, Phil Smith, the late Phil Smith, sportscaster. Phil used to suffer from high blood pressure, chronic high blood pressure. And he pretty much didn't do what he needed to do to address that in time. And eventually, that high blood pressure destroyed his kidneys. So he ended up dying from kidney failure. But it was the high blood pressure that contributed to the failure of his kidneys. There are others out there who are ignoring their blood sugar imbalance, ignoring it, acting like it's not there, denying that they're dealing with a blood sugar imbalance, but that they need to understand is what is contributing to the problems with the kidneys. You cannot fix what you do not acknowledge. So step one is to acknowledge that you have that problem, and then we can move towards fixing it. So we're going to take a quick break. Like and share the show. Anybody that you know is battling chronic kidney disease, get them on this show, because we're going to be dropping some real nuggets of information today that could literally change your life. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Weston, Lux, fuel, track life, tough, rough racing, velocity, mud, all-terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Less is love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift. On this Wellness Wednesday, we're talking today about kidney disease and how to reverse kidney disease holistically. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or our WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. If you know anyone, or if you yourself are dealing with a diagnosis of kidney disease, then this show is for you. And I want you to listen intently with an open mind. And, you know, I say to people all the time who are scared or reluctant to try to go the holistic route. And again, we don't recommend people do this in absence of the knowledge of your doctor. We're not reckless like that. But people are generally afraid. And I say to them all the time, so if you were having so much success at the approach that you're taking, how is that working out for you? Because truth be told, dialysis does not cure anyone of kidney disease. It doesn't cure you. You will have to be on dialysis for the rest of your life unless you get a kidney transplant. And then you have to be on medication for the rest of your life to ensure that your body does not reject a new kidney. So, how's that working out for you? You should not be afraid to try nutrition because it's not going to harm in any way what is already happening in your program, but it can definitely be of benefit to you. So I want us to dive a little bit deeper into what causes kidney failure. You know that as a certified holistic health coach trained under the Institute of Holistic Health, we were trained following the protocols of Dr. Joel Wallach. You hear me talk about him all the time. In addition to him being a naturopathic doctor and agricultural expert, he's also a former pathologist. And he often says that when an autopsy was performed on someone who passed away with renal failure, he would often ask them, well, what did they die from? Oh, they died from kidney failure. Oh, kidneys are in great condition. How could that be? Well, he discovered how it could be, because as you will learn as we go through this show, The problem is not the kidney. The problem is the system that connects to the kidney, the apparatus that connects to the kidney so that the kidney can do its work. If that apparatus is compromised in any way, then the kidney functions less and less and less to the point where it just stops functioning. Why? Not because the kidney was the problem, but because there's been some damage to the system that is supposed to work so that your kidneys can do their job. So the idea is to figure out how to fix that system. And that's what we're going to be talking about within this show. But first, let's dig a little deeper to discover what causes the kidneys to stop working.
Chronic kidney disease is a broad term that includes subtle decreases in kidney function that develop over a minimum of 3 months. In contrast, acute kidney injury refers to any decrease in kidney function that happens in less than 3 months. Now, the kidney's job is to regulate what's in the blood, so they might remove waste or make sure electrolyte levels are steady or regulate the overall amount of water. And they even make hormones. The bottom line is that the kidneys do a ton of stuff. Blood gets into the kidney through the renal artery, and once inside, it goes to tiny clumps of arterioles called glomeruli, where it's initially filtered. And the filtrate, which is the stuff that gets filtered out, moves into the renal tubule. The rate at which this filtration process takes place is known as the glomerular filtration rate, or GFR. In a normal, healthy person, this is somewhere around 100 to 120 milliliters of fluid filtered per minute per 1.73 meters squared of body surface area. This value is slightly less in women than men, and it decreases slowly in all of us as we grow older. One of the most common causes of chronic kidney disease is hypertension. In hypertension, the walls of arteries supplying the kidney start to thicken in order to withstand the pressure, and that results in a narrow lumen. A narrow lumen means less blood and oxygen gets delivered to the kidney, which leads to ischemic injury to the nephron's glomerulus. Immune cells like macrophages and fat-laden macrophages, called foam cells, slip into the damaged glomerulus and start secreting growth factors like transforming growth factor beta 1, or TGF beta 1. These growth factors cause the mesangial cells to regress back to their more immature stem cell state known as mesangioblasts. And then those mesangioblasts secrete extracellular structural matrix. This excessive extracellular matrix leads to glomerulosclerosis, which is hardening and scarring, which diminishes the nephron's ability to filter the blood. And over time, this leads to chronic kidney disease. The most common cause of chronic kidney disease is diabetes. In this situation, excess glucose in the blood starts sticking to proteins, a process called non-enzymatic glycation, because no enzymes are involved. This process of glycation particularly affects the efferent arteriole and causes it to get stiff and more narrow, a process called hyaline arteriosclerosis. This creates an obstruction that makes it difficult for blood to leave the glomerulus, and increases pressure within the glomerulus, which leads to hyperfiltration, essentially pushing more fluid through. In response to this high-pressure state, the supportive mesangial cells secrete more and more structural matrix, which expands the size of the glomerulus. Over many years, this process of glomerulosclerosis once again diminishes the nephron's ability to filter the blood and can lead to chronic kidney disease. Although diabetes and hypertension are responsible for the vast majority of chronic kidney disease cases, there are other causes as well, including systemic diseases like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, which can also cause glomerulosclerosis. Other causes, though, include infections like HIV, as well as long-term use of medications like NSAIDs, and toxins like the ones in tobacco.
Okay, so you heard it there. If you are ignoring your high blood pressure, not figuring how to fix that, and I think this is an important point to make, especially as it relates to the blood sugar issue, because you may argue that, well, I'm not diabetic, But if you have a blood sugar imbalance, even though you may not have been termed as being diabetic, that blood sugar imbalance could still be contributing to the ongoing damage. So, balance is the key when it comes to your blood sugar levels. I often get clients who say, but I'm not diabetic. But yet, all of their symptoms are showing that they have a blood sugar imbalance. And again, the word imbalance doesn't mean that you are at the point of being diabetic, but there is an imbalance that could still be causing a problem. So it is not wise to ignore that, because you ignore that to your own detriment. So we now know the causes of kidney failure. And that video was very, very technical in explaining the mechanism of what does what to cause the kidneys to work and why the kidneys start to malfunction after that particular bodily system goes wrong. Understand, though, that even though you may have been told that there's nothing that you can do after a certain point, I say it all the time, your body is a healing machine. Healing machine that can regenerate, but you have to stop doing the ongoing damage that you're doing that has led to the kidney failure in the first place. And a lot of times it's just a matter of people not knowing what they are doing to contribute to the condition. So you're doing these things innocently, or maybe not so innocently, but the bottom line is it's contributing to the problem. But you don't know, so you continue to do it. And as a result, you find yourself in your early 30s on dialysis. My goal here today is to give you information so that you can break free and so that you can guide your family in such a way that none of them, young, old, or in between, have to end up going through the same thing. Because remember now, I said this has nothing to do with age, because we see children in this country on dialysis. So that tells you this is not about getting older. Okay? Much of this is a result of years of bad eating. Years of bad eating. Years of abusing pharmaceutical medications. Years of being exposed to toxins like tobacco. So if you're a person who is smoking and you figure nobody should say nothing to you because that's your right, that's your body, yeah, okay. But if you end up on dialysis, you can't blame that on anybody else but yourself, because you would have worked for that. So my encouragement today is that we stop doing the damage that we're doing. It's to give you the information and the education that you need to stop the damage, because that's an integral part of this conversation. Ain't no pill you can pop that will reverse kidney disease if you are not willing to clean up your act. Now, what are the early symptoms? Because you heard in one of those clips that you may be having symptoms and not even making the connection between that and kidney failure or kidney disease. Well, according again to the Mayo Clinic, signs and symptoms of chronic kidney disease develop over time if kidney damage progresses slowly. Loss of kidney function can cause a buildup of fluid or body waste or electrolyte problems. And depending on how severe it is, loss of kidney function can cause the following. You may be experiencing nausea, and you can't figure that out. Vomiting is another symptom you may be experiencing. Loss of appetite, fatigue and weakness. You're tired all the time. You just don't have the energy to do anything. Sleep problems. Urinating more or less than usual. Decreased mental sharpness. Muscle cramps. Dry, itchy skin. High blood pressure or hypertension. that is difficult to control, shortness of breath if fluid builds up in the lungs, and chest pain if fluid builds up around the lining of the heart. Now, some of them sound very serious, but some of them you're going through right now and aren't making any connection between that and the functioning of your kidneys. Signs and symptoms of kidney disease are often non-specific, and this is why it's often so missed. And this means that they can also be caused by other illnesses. Because your kidneys are able to make up for lost function, you might not develop signs and symptoms until, well, Mayo Clinic says irreversible damage has occurred. Believe the diagnosis, don't necessarily believe that prognosis. So here now is another clip that's talking about symptoms of kidney disease.
Normally, urea in the blood gets excreted in the urine. But when there's a decreased glomerular filtration rate, less urea gets filtered out, and therefore it has nowhere else to go besides the blood. And so it builds up in the blood, which is a condition called azotemia. Azotemia can cause general symptoms like nausea and loss of appetite. But as urea levels really build up, they can affect the functioning of the central nervous system, causing encephalopathy. This results in asterixis, a tremor of the hand that kind of resembles a bird flapping its wings, and is best seen when a person attempts to extend their wrists. Further accumulation can even progress to coma and death. This buildup can also cause pericarditis, which is inflammation of the lining of the heart. In addition, there can also be increased tendency for bleeding, since excess urea in the blood makes platelets less likely to stick to each other, and so there's less clot formation. Finally, in some cases, someone can develop uremic frost, where urea crystals can deposit in the skin and they look like powdery snowflakes. In addition to getting rid of waste, the kidneys play an important role in electrolyte balance. Potassium levels are particularly important, and normally the kidney helps with potassium excretion. In chronic kidney disease, though, just like with urea, less potassium is excreted, and so more builds up in the blood. And this leads to hyperkalemia, which can be problematic because it can cause cardiac arrhythmias. Another key role of the kidneys relates to balancing calcium levels. Normally, the kidney helps to activate vitamin D, which then helps to increase absorption of calcium from the diet. With chronic kidney disease, though, there's less activated vitamin D, so less calcium is absorbed into the blood, which results in hypocalcemia, low calcium levels. As calcium levels in the blood fall, parathyroid hormone is released, which causes the bones to lose calcium. Over time, this resorption of calcium from the bones leaves them weak and brittle, a condition known as renal osteodystrophy. The kidneys also release key hormones. For example, normally when the kidneys start sensing a lower than normal amount of fluid getting filtered, they respond by releasing the hormone renin to increase the blood pressure. In chronic kidney disease, the falling glomerular filtration rate leads to more and more renin secretion, which leads to hypertension. Now, remember that hypertension is a cause of chronic kidney disease itself, so this creates quite the vicious cycle. Finally, the kidney also secretes the hormone erythropoietin, which stimulates the production of red blood cells from the bone marrow. In chronic kidney disease, erythropoietin levels fall, and this leads to lowered production of red blood cells, and ultimately anemia.
Okay, so I have a comment on Facebook that says, let me see if I can get it to come up. It says, Michelle, I think this video, although thorough, is too much for the average person to process. All the diseases listed were heavily attributable to hereditary conditions. Well, here's the thing, Alfred. I would disagree with you when it comes to hereditary conditions, because it's not hereditary conditions that are the problem. It's hereditary practices, hereditary lifestyles, hereditary culture, hereditary eating habits that have led to this. Much of what we try to blame on genetics is really just culture, what you have learned to do over a period of time. And so to say that people can't process it, well, I'm going to put it out there because, there are some people who can process it, and information is power. And take what you can and leave the rest. But it's no use we try to put all of this at the feet of, oh, this is just, hereditary. No, it is more than that. And we're going to talk about that on the show today. And this is why this conversation is so important, because again, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And we are, in many instances, excusing away bad behavior, which is contributing to the problem. And the thing is, you may not even realize that that behavior is bad, because this is something that your family has done for generations. This is something that you grew up doing. I hear it all the time. I grew up eating this. And so we have to put the information out there. And like I said, take what you can take from it. What you can't, just leave the rest for somebody else who can. But to say, don't put it out there because people can't process it, no. But this is not hereditary conditions. This is hereditary behavior. That's the problem. And that's what we're going to learn about during the process of this show, because very much of this is controllable. It's not inevitable that you develop chronic kidney disease, even if your mother had it and your grandmother had it and your father had it and your grandfather had it and your auntie had it. It doesn't mean that you have to develop it. But you got to be vigilant in doing what you need to do to ensure that you don't. It's not automatic that you come down with kidney disease just because somebody in your family had it. No, but you got to make some changes. Otherwise, you may go down that same road. So the goal here today is to talk about what is physically happening to your body so that you get a fair understanding of it. And then what you can do to not go down that road where we see these things happening. People may say, oh, high blood pressure, that's hereditary. No, that's a nutritional deficiency. And we've proven that time and time again. A couple of weeks of nutrition and your high blood pressure is no more. So clearly it was not a hereditary thing. It was just a lack of nutrients. And there are some things that people are doing that are making it harder for their body to absorb nutrients. And we're going to talk about all of that during this show. But I need you to understand that this is not a problem of, oh, this is hereditary in my family. No, you need to look at it from another approach. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Telephone numbers to call: 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272, 3260272, 3260272. And the WhatsApp line, if you want to send us a message, is 801-0271, 801-0271 to send us a message. Okay? Like and share this show, especially if you know anyone who is battling chronic kidney disease, because we are going to look at solutions. I thought it was important that we look at the cause of the problem. You need to understand that. That's the foundation. Information is power. And once you understand the process of what is happening, then it makes it easier for you to swallow. When I tell you, you got to cut certain things out of your diet. Because if you don't really understand what that thing is doing to your body to aid in the problem, then you're going to be reluctant to stop it. You see? So this is why I figured it was important for us to go through all of that technical information, if you want to call it that. And like I say, if you can process it, great. If you can't, take what you can and leave the rest. I suggest that you watch the shows a couple of times to get a full understanding. And if you are not familiar with the term and you want more information, there's this wonderful invention called Google. So if you go back and watch the show and write down the terms that you want more information on, and then search them up, you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot. Obviously, I can't. I mean, it's only a 2-hour show. So I'm trying to cover as much ground as I can within the 2 hours. but you definitely can take your time and do more research and read up on it and get a better understanding of it, so that you can be a part of the process of healing. And it is a process. That's another important point to make. It's a process. Even though some people we see, like in one case, a client within a month and a half, she was, her surgery was canceled. But for some people, it takes longer. It depends on the level of damage that has been done. Some people will take longer to heal because they have more damage. But you have to understand that this is a process, okay? A part of our problem is we like quick fix. We just want pop a pill and then we good to go. But I tell people all the time, it didn't take you 3 weeks to develop that condition that you have, and it ain't gonna take 3 weeks to fix it unless it's something easy to fix, like high blood pressure, for instance. But if you're talking end-stage renal disease, chances are it's going to take you longer than a month. Now, praise the Lord, if you get a month and you offer dialysis, thank you, Lord. But it took you longer than a month to develop that problem. So you need to give yourself time to take care of it, to reverse it. It's not a quick fix, it's a process. But we say all the time, give us 90 days and 90 nutrients, and we can change 90% of your life. And this is no different. Your body is a healing machine that knows what to do to fix itself. But you need the knowledge so that you can aid the body in that process. Because if you don't know, your body could know what it needs to do to heal all at once. But if you're not giving it what it needs, like we say, dog, eat your lunch. So we're going to talk about on the other side of the break now. I want you to understand that there are different levels of kidney disease. And not everyone that has kidney disease has advanced to kidney failure. Important distinction to understand that you could have kidney disease that does not advance to kidney failure. So we need a better understanding of kidney disease. And one of the things that you need to understand, and this is what we're going to look at on the other side of the break, is identifying when your kidneys have become toxic, because that is, the beginning of a problem. If your kidneys are toxic, we're going to look at the signs and symptoms of a toxic kidney, and we're going to look at the causes of your kidneys becoming toxic. First part of the show, we went very deep. This part, we're going to give you more knowledge about how to avoid the kidneys becoming toxic so that you don't get to the point where you get end-stage kidney failure. So stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. This is GPS.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, fuel, track life, tough, rough racing, velocity, mud, all-terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here on this Wellness Wednesday. We are talking all about the kidneys, how to reverse kidney disease and even kidney failure holistically. The numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp number to send us a message 8010271, 8010271. Those are the ways to get your voice heard on the show GPS today. If you have a question or comment, go ahead and give us a call, and we will do our best to answer you. Okay, so as I said prior to the break, there's a difference between kidney disease and kidney failure. You can have one without having the other. So kidney disease is the beginning of the problem, which can progress to kidney failure. But just because you have kidney disease does not mean that you will end up with kidney failure. Okay? So the idea is to address the problem of kidney disease before it becomes kidney failure. That's the whole idea. So not everyone listening to the show has progressed to the point where they actually are at kidney failure, but you may be battling kidney disease. And so what we're going to talk about in this next segment of the show is how to identify if your kidneys are toxic and what can cause your kidneys to become toxic. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
How are your day going?
Very good. How are you?
Awesome. Well, Amos just called. I know you're talking about kidneys today, and you know I love you every day. I love GPS every day, but it's just like on Wednesdays, it's my favorite. Okay. You know, Wednesdays is my favorite. So I want you to continue to keep your chin up, keep your head up, keep smiling, because listen, I just called to say thank you. And I love you. Love the way you're seeing our national health needs, Michelle.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And and not just our national health need, as I wrote on Facebook, but also our national need in general. And so I'm not going to take up no more of your time. I'm just going to continue to listen more so I can learn that. So when you're not hearing me, I'm listening. So when I speak, the powers that be can know and comprehend what I could have said and did not say. Have a blessed day. We love you, and I love you.
All right. Thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
Amos. I really do appreciate your support. Thank you so very much. This show would be nothing without, those of you out there listening and watching on Facebook. So I really do appreciate the support. Okay, so let's get back to the matter at hand. We're talking kidney disease today, and like I would have pointed out, kidney disease and kidney failure are two different things. It is possible to have kidney disease, but not advance to kidney failure. So let's make sure that we, get the information out so that we can have less people having to have dialysis because their condition has advanced to kidney failure. So, kidney disease, we have to talk about that because there, Dr. Berg is one of my favorites. There are 7 key signs that you may be experiencing a toxic kidney. And here is Dr. Berg breaking it down for you to tell you what that looks like.
Let's talk about the 7 warning signs that your kidneys are toxic. Now, I want to do a comprehensive video on the kidney, but in a very, very simple way without teaching you all the fluff and the extra things that you don't need to know. So we're just going to focus on the most important things you need to know to prevent a toxic kidney, as well as what to do if you have toxic kidneys. Now, what is the purpose of the kidneys? Well, it mainly filters the blood, but not like an oil filter in your car. It's much more complex. It gets rid of the toxic things and it will help to reabsorb all the good things. So the more you lose this complex filtering function, you start getting rid of nutrients that you need and you hold waste products. They start backing up into the system. And so all of the symptoms, both in the early stage kidney problems as well as the late stage kidney problems, are directly related to this filtering system becoming damaged. Now, some of the top early symptoms would be a metallic taste in your mouth. That means your toxins are backing up into the system. You have itchiness in your body, and you can also have ammonia breath. Now, some of the later signs that your kidneys are toxic would be edema, swelling, where you put your finger into your lower leg and it leaves a dent. And so you're going to notice swelling in the lower ankles and feet. Now, this also shows up with the kidney because the liver and the kidney work together. But if you have pitting edema in your lower extremities, your kidneys are toxic. Now, the other place you're going to see edema is underneath the eyes. You're going to see these kind of puffy, swollen bags underneath your eyes. That is the kidneys backing up. Another symptom that you may get is called uremic frost. Now, what is uremic frost? Things are backing up in the system, especially uric acid, and it's backing up through the skin, usually on the scalp or the front part of your head. You'll see these little white specks like frost on your skin. That is urea backing up in the system because the body's not able to get rid of it, and it's coming through your skin. Another common sign would be high blood pressure, because think about it, if the filter is damaged, it's going to kind of inhibit blood flow through the kidney, and it's going to back up as a back pressure. And one of the problems with high blood pressure is that pressure itself will damage the kidneys. Because if you think about having too much pressure through this pipe and hitting this filter, it'd be very similar to having a water filter in your house and you put way too much pressure in these pipes. It's going to damage the filtering mechanism. So the kidney, being a filter, is really made up of these tiny little filters called glomeruli. And each kidney has about 1 million of them, and they do the work of filtering and kind of recycling certain nutrients. So you're not wasting all the vitamins and minerals and amino acids. All right, another really common sign that your kidneys are toxic is that you are exhausted, You're tired. Now, the mechanism of what makes you tired is urea, which is kind of a waste product of protein. Too much of that in the blood, and you're just going to be so tired. Number 5, protein in the urine. If you get a urine test and there's large amounts of protein in the urine, suspect that your kidneys are toxic and they're damaged. Now, if there's a small amount of protein, that could mean something else. But if you have a lot of protein coming through this filter, there's holes in the filter, They're damaged. All right, number 6 is very acidic urine. Your body becomes more acid. And this comes from an imbalance with ammonia, because ammonia is very, very alkaline. And so it's not able to buffer things that well. And so you have ammonia building up in certain places in the body and not in others, and it throws off your pH. Now, the other reason why you can become acidic is, especially if you're a diabetic, is that you're running out of insulin. So you have these uncontrolled blood sugars. And if you don't watch it, you can develop something called ketoacidosis. But I just want to mention that's completely different than nutritional ketosis, where you're changing your diet and you're getting into ketosis. Ketoacidosis occurs when you are a diabetic and you're not taking your medication and you're not regulating your blood sugars well. All right, number 7, low vitamin D. Now, if you watch some of my other videos on vitamin D, the kidney is very, very important. So is the liver. But the kidney helps in the first conversion from the inactive vitamin D to the active vitamin D. So without good kidney function, you're not going to be able to change vitamin D into its active form. And so you're going to have a vitamin D deficiency despite how much vitamin D you take, as well as a calcium deficiency. And that can lead to all sorts of other problems like calcification in your arteries, atherosclerosis, kidney stones, calcium building up in the arteries, calcium building up in your eyes, calcium building up in the nerves as neuritis, and the list goes on and on and on.
So a very important part to understand is that you have to be sure that you're getting adequate nutrition so that those systems can work as they were designed to work. There are certain things that you may be eating that are causing, for instance, inflammation in the body. And inflammation is bad because inflammation constricts those small vessels that are responsible for taking the dirty blood to the kidneys and making it more difficult for that blood to pass through. Inflammation is bad for the body on the whole. But many people are consuming foods on a regular, not realizing that those foods are contributing to the problem of inflammation. And then obviously absorption is key because you want to make sure that you are able to absorb the nutrients once you do begin to take them. But if you have, and I know you're tired of hearing about it, but if you have a damaged gut, then chances are you're not absorbing nutrients as you should be, which leads to nutritional deficiencies, which lead to your system not functioning, your cells not functioning at optimal level, which leads to, you get the picture? It's like a domino effect. So we obviously have to talk about diet as a part of this whole process of reversing kidney disease or ensuring that you don't go beyond the place of kidney disease to kidney failure. So a couple of comments here on Facebook. Let's see. So Bertha says, you are what you eat, period. Pretty much. We'll learn more about that. And Claudette says, you eat to get sick and you eat to heal, your choice. Well, here's the thing. We in the Bahamas, it's no accident, I believe, that we have such a high prevalence of kidney failure, of diabetes, of hypertension, of cancer, you name it. Like I say, we like to do everything extra, and that clearly includes being sick. But that's not coincidental. That is in major part as a result of our culture. And many of the foods and the preparation of the foods that we are eating, which is leading to the damage in the body, which is making it difficult for the kidney to get the dirty blood to do its job. So again, if you're going to go as far as having a kidney transplant, but you don't change the very behaviors that led to you needing one in the first place, then you're setting yourself up for more problems down the road. There's no one without the other. So we obviously have to talk about the causes. What causes your kidneys to become toxic? What causes that restriction of the arteries, but causes your body to not function the way it was designed to function to get the dirty blood to the kidneys in the first place. We have to talk about that. That's a major part of this conversation. You can't have one without the other. A major part of that is the foods that we eat. Major part. And yes, toxins as well. And certain medications as well. On abuse of medications that damage the gut. But your gut health is extremely important in this conversation because that's sort of the epicenter where it all begins. If you're not absorbing properly, it's going to lead to a problem. So if you have a permeated gut, you got to fix that. But not only do you have to fix that, you have to stop doing the ongoing damage to it. So you hear me talk about all the time the foods that you should avoid. Top of the list: wheat, barley, rye, and oats. If you are consuming wheat, barley, rye, or oats, you are damaging your gut. You are making it difficult for your body to perform at optimal levels, which is necessary if you're looking to avoid or reverse kidney disease. So you have to understand that gluten hides in a lot of things that you may be consuming that you don't even realize. I had a consultation just yesterday, and I said to the client, okay, based on what I see here, we got to get you off of gluten. You got to change your diet because I can't help you unless you change your diet. And so I started listing of all the things that we Bahamians like to eat that contain gluten. And I mentioned beer. And the client said, oh, I don't drink beer. I said, okay. And then after the consultation was over, I got a message from the client, and the client was like, well, what about cocktails? So I said, well, I wouldn't recommend it, but what are you calling cocktails? And the client was like, rattlers. I said, well, boo, rattlers contain beer. So if you're drinking rattlers on the regular, you drinking something that contains gluten, which is why you have this major problem with acid reflux, because you're constantly damaging your body with the very things that most people think are okay. So you may be drinking malts, for instance, not realizing anything made from hops is not good. Some people have a hard time giving up their oatmeal. When I tell them they got to stop eating oatmeal, they look like they want to slap me. I got to step back because they just don't want to hear it. But yet we see, because they continue to eat it, they develop all these other conditions that you heard in one of the clips earlier about the connection between lupus, which is an autoimmune disease, and kidney malfunction. And a major part of that problem is related to permeated, unhealthy gut, because that is what leads to autoimmune illnesses, which can then cause another problem. So you got to get rid of the wheat, barley, rye, and oats. There's no way around that. You have to eliminate it. You have to eliminate all oils, all ALL oils, particularly those in a bottle. I don't care how much they tell you they are healthy. You must not eat it. Because the problem, and I know some of y'all tired of hearing this, but I got to keep saying it. The problem is the condition of the oil once oxygen hits that. Okay? So if you get an apple and you cut that apple in half and you leave it on the counter, you know what happens, right? It immediately starts to turn brown. And that is because of the process of oxidation. The oxygen hits the apple, it immediately starts to degenerate. Well, even though the oil may not be changing color, as long as that's sitting in that container, there's oxygen in that container, and that is oxidizing that oil. So when you consume that, it damages your body. It causes inflammation in the body. Inflammation is one of the key things that helps with the clogging of the arteries. So it's not worth it to consume that oil because that's what your grandma used to do. And because you grow up eating these things, and no, you must not eat it. All oils need to be eliminated from your diet if you are having problems with your kidneys. In general, yes, but especially if you're having problems with your kidneys. You must not eat it. You should avoid all corn and soy because they, for the most part, especially in the Western Hemisphere, are genetically modified. And apart from that, have been heavily sprayed with Roundup. And this is why your fruits and vegetables need to be organic. Because if they're not, they're heavily sprayed with a carcinogen called Roundup, which is a problem for your body. Okay? So you want to avoid all oils in a bottle. You want to avoid, obviously, fried foods. If you're not going to eat oil, then it goes without saying that you shouldn't be frying your food in oil. If you have an air fryer, fantastic. You can oven fry your food without the oil, but as long as you put that thing in oil and fry that, it's done. You're damaging your body. Okay? You want to avoid processed meats that have nitrates and nitrites. Okay? So what happens is the butcher injects nitrates or nitrites into the meat so that it'll look nice and red. But that's a carcinogen. It damages your body. So if you are going to eat processed meat, make sure that it says nitrate-free, nitrite-free, and gluten-free. Or if you're getting it straight from your butcher, make sure that you tell your butcher, I have an allergy to nitrates and nitrites. So they don't inject that in there to entice you to buy it. Okay? But processed meats are bad because they contain cancer-causing agents. All right? So you want to avoid them. And that's all the things like the pepperoni and the sausage and bologna and all processed meats. Make sure you become an expert at reading labels to ensure that you're not getting nitrates and nitrites. And it's going to cost you a little bit more than the ones with it, but it is worth it to save your life if you are going to eat that stuff. Okay? Organic coffee, Claudette is asking, what about organic coffee? If you're going to drink coffee, it better be organic because coffee is one of the most toxic things out there if it's not organic. Has a lot of toxins in it. So you want to avoid that. Let's see what else we have asked here. Perlin is asking, can your kidneys be cleaned and how can you clean it? Perlin, if you just continue to watch the show, you'll understand this whole process. Okay. Let's see. So Romika says, wow, I thought oatmeal was good, especially with fruits. A lot of people think that, Romika. That's the problem. We've been misled to believe that it's healthy. And every time we eat that stuff, it is damaging our gut. And your gut is the epicenter of this whole conversation, because if your gut is damaged, then things are getting into your bloodstream that should not be there. And that is leading to an autoimmune response, and that is leading to inflammation. And trust me, that's a domino effect you don't want to start. You don't want to knock that first domino off because it just continues and continues and continues. And the next thing you know is you have renal disease. Okay? So avoid oatmeal at all costs. Eliminate it from your diet. What else did I not cover? Red meat. If you're going to eat a red meat, if you are a red meat eater, then make sure that it's rare or medium rare, not well done. And if you're going to, people like to eat grilled meat, the grill marks, that's carcinogenic. So you might want to wrap it in a foil or something like that as you grill it to avoid those grill marks. If you're going to eat a baked potato, you should never eat the skin of the baked potato. If you want to eat the skin, boiled potatoes are fine. But once that bakes, do not eat the skin of a baked potato. Okay? And lastly, well, sugar, obviously white sugar, you don't want to do that. I mean, that goes without saying. So try to find a better alternative for sweetening, like a stevia leaf, which is pretty good, or something like monk fruit. With monk fruit, you got to take your land papers in the food store for that. So stevia is a lot more affordable. But you don't want to do the white sugar. That is to be avoided because it's just not good for you. And you want to avoid margarine, clearly, because margarine is oils. You want to avoid things like mayonnaise, because mayonnaise, agave is fine, Claudia. Mayonnaise is nothing more than oil and eggs. And again, we're avoiding oil. So you got to eliminate mayonnaise from your diet. Unless you make or find a really good cashew mayonnaise that doesn't have oil, you want to eliminate the traditional type of mayonnaise from your diet. Anything that has oil, salad dressings, for instance. You go in the food store and they all contain oil, and you got to read labels really well to find one that doesn't, or make your own. I found some really great recipes online where you can make really delicious salad dressings that are oil-free, but you have to go oil-free. Okay? What am I forgetting? Carbonated beverages or alkaline water with a meal. You ought to avoid that because what happens when you consume anything with bubbles with a meal, and when I say anything with bubbles, any carbonated drink, that could be soda, that could be seltzer water, it could be champagne, it could be beer, anything with bubbles. Those bubbles actually neutralize the acids in your stomach, which is not a good idea. You want your stomach is supposed to be a bag of acid. And if you neutralize the acid in your stomach, you're making it extremely difficult for your stomach to digest your food properly. And that is not good. Okay? So all of these things you may be doing innocently. The lady yesterday was drinking Radlers, not realizing that that was damaging her gut. I have people who love oatmeal, not realizing that that's damaging their gut. And the wonderful thing is that there are so many options available to you in the store nowadays that you really ain't gonna be missing nothing if you go gluten-free. It's just a matter of switching brands. Okay? So make sure you read labels. Make sure you're not getting any oils, any gluten in your diet. And you'd be surprised at what a difference that will make. Because your gut is the epicenter of this conversation. If your gut is damaged, it's going to trigger other reactions in your body that can lead to not just kidney disease, but all kinds of problems for you in other areas as well. Okay? So make those changes. Very, very important. Knowledge is power. Apply the knowledge. And that's just the beginning of taking the step towards becoming healthier. Claudette is asking about brown sugar. Brown sugar, Claudette, is nothing more than molasses and sugar mixed, white sugar mixed. So molasses might be a better choice. I use organic, organic maple syrup. That's what I use in many of my recipes that call for sugar, or I use stevia leaf. Depends on what I'm making. Okay? All right. So we're going to take a quick break, but I also, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about the causes of toxic kidneys. Dr. Berg is going to go into some more detail than I just did. And then we're going to hear from the one and only Dr. Joel Wallach about reversing kidney disease holistically. So stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. You are tuned in to GPS.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Last is love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this Wellness Wednesday. We're talking about reversing kidney disease, which is a topic that unfortunately many people in this country need to hear, because we have an out of control level of kidney failure in this country. It's just crazy how many people of all ages are dealing with this. So this ain't just Grammy and Grandpa. Well, we're talking people in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and children even being on dialysis. So that tells you this is not about aging, but this is, in many ways about our culture and what we are doing to damage our bodies. Now, you may say, Michelle, my grandparents used to eat certain foods, and now you're trying to tell me that these foods aren't good, and how come they live to be this age and all this kind of stuff. Well, I say it all the time. You have to understand that the foods that they ate back then were real foods, not genetically modified, not for the most part sprayed with all these chemicals that we have today. So it was more nutritious. They got more nutrients from the foods that they ate. They grew their own foods for the most part. Many of them farmed. So it's not, you can't compare what they ate to what we are eating nowadays, because what we are eating is a shadow of the real food that they ate. They did not have much money for processed foods, so they ate whole foods for the most part. Everything we eat is either coming in a box or, fast food. And so you can't compare what they ate to what you're eating today, because what you're eating today compared to what they ate ain't real food. And this is a major part of our problem. We are growing up a generation of people who living off of fast food. And I'm sorry, but that is not good for your health. And so these are the things that we need to talk about. Okay, so we're going to go back to Dr. Berg, and he is going to talk about what causes your kidneys to become toxic in the first place.
Hands down, the number one cause is diabetes. Specifically, when you have high levels of glucose flowing through the body and through the kidney. Glucose to the kidney is like taking steel wool or sandpaper and just rubbing the inside of your kidney. It just destroys the kidney. The kidney is one of 4 main body tissues that gets destroyed with high glucose. The other tissues is the heart, like the blood vessels, then you have the nerves in the brain, and then the eyes. So diabetes just hammers the kidney and destroys the kidney. Now, I just want to bring up one little side note, which I'm going to do another video on. If you take a look at normal blood sugars, right? Normal blood sugar would be like 80 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, what does this 80 mean? How much sugar is in the blood when it says 80? It's only 4 grams. That's like 1 teaspoon of sugar, okay, to make up normal blood sugar. An average person per day consumes well over, usually it's 15 or more teaspoons every single day. And they have that going through their blood system, right? But a lot of times, well, initially, it doesn't show up in your blood test. It doesn't show up as abnormal blood sugar. And this is because your body works really hard at keeping sugar out of the blood. And it does that through a hormone called insulin. So it's constantly just taking the sugar out. And so it's trying to keep your arteries free of this excess sugar because of the damage it creates. But think about this. Where is all the sugar going? Your body is putting it in other places. And this is one of the signs of diabetes, is where you have sugar in the urine. And so the kidney filter has to work really hard at getting rid of excess sugar. And this excess sugar is like a blowtorch to your kidney. It creates oxidation and it creates a lot of damage. I'm just amazed that the body actually responds and survives as well as it does with the amount of sugar that an average person consumes. All right, so the primary cause of kidney problems is diabetes. And the second cause is high blood pressure, which a lot of times is caused by diabetes because glucose hardens the arteries, increasing the pressure because there's no elasticity. The other 2 really big causes of high blood pressure is low vitamin D, which could be caused by a kidney problem, and low potassium, which can then cause kidney damage, and high blood pressure can also affect diabetes as well. So it's kind of this circuit that just one causes another problem, it causes another problem, back and forth. Now, another cause, not very common, but it can cause kidney damage, is polycystic kidney disease. Now, this is usually a genetic problem that manifests when you get kidney damage. And so the genes are usually expressed or get triggered when your body becomes toxic, especially the kidney. In later stage kidney disease, people a lot of times will develop these cysts. All right, then another cause of kidney damage would be glomerulonephritis, which is inflammation of those little filters, those glomeruli. So the question is, what causes inflammation of these little filtering units? Well, if you guessed diabetes, you are correct. So you pretty much conclude that the majority of kidney problems come from high blood glucose.
So keep in mind that just because we say high blood glucose doesn't mean that you are diabetic. It just could mean that you have an imbalance, a sugar imbalance. And one of the ways that we determine what that is, or whether or not you are dealing with that, is we conduct what we call a health evaluation. And the way the health evaluation works is that we ask you 4 sets of questions that correlate to the 4 categories of disease. So for those of you who are not familiar, who have not, followed the show, you wouldn't know. But the 4 categories of disease are the hard tissue category. So that governs all of the hard tissues of the body, the bones, the joints, the ligaments, the cartilage, the teeth, the nails, etc. And then you've got the soft tissues of your body. You've got the eyes, the lungs, the skin, the brain, the heart, etc., the organs, etc. And then you've got blood sugar imbalances, which is a very important part of this discussion, because you could have a blood sugar imbalance and not even realize that you have a blood sugar imbalance. And one of the ways that our health evaluation, well, the 4th one is digestive disorders. Now, what our health evaluation does is you answer those 4 sets of 20 questions based on whatever symptoms you are experiencing at the time. So you may not be diabetic, but you may be a person who is constantly craving sweets or craving carbs, which is a good indicator that you may have a blood sugar imbalance. You may be a person who is suffering, there's certain subtle things that you may not even be making the connection. One of them, for instance, is fungus on your toenails or fungus on your feet or hands. That could be a sign that you have a blood sugar imbalance. High cholesterol and high triglycerides is a sign that you have a blood sugar imbalance. But you may not be making the connection. So here it is, you're thinking, well, I'm not diabetic, so this wouldn't apply to me, but yet you got to eat a chocolate bar every so often because you're craving for something sweet, or you're always craving for carbs. That's a good sign that you may have a blood sugar imbalance. So what we do is we get you to fill out this health evaluation, right? And the health evaluation is strictly based on the symptoms that you are experiencing. So your body is talking to you through the symptoms. The symptoms are your body's way of telling you, I have a deficiency in this area, I need help in this area, etc. So we have you complete this health evaluation form, and that helps us to determine what is going on in your body as it relates to your nutritional needs. Now, sometimes I can look at results and realize there's something going on here more than just nutritional deficiencies. Because if you're being exposed to some major toxin, for instance, like mold, then your numbers are going to be crazy in all 4 categories. And then, I'm asking the right questions, and I discover, oh yeah, we have a leaking roof. Oh yeah, I work in this particular government office. Oh yeah, I'm like, okay, that is helping to make you sick. Because let me tell you, from personal experience, mold will wreak havoc on your gut. So the key is for us to get a clear picture of where you are at as it relates to your nutritional needs. And then we help the body to help itself by supplying that nutrition based on your own specific, unique results. Okay? And that is how we are able to help people. Now, that being said, Dr. Wallach has a very specific protocol that provides you with the 90 nutrients that we all need, your 60 minerals, your 16 vitamins, your 12 amino acids, your 3 essential fatty acids. But in addition to that, he has a specific protocol that is designed to unplug those little arteries that lead to the kidneys so that the kidneys can start to get the dirty blood that they need to function. And it's a very specific protocol that we follow, in addition to determining what your nutritional needs are, because that is just the foundation. Okay, those 90 nutrients, that's the foundation of the house. And I tell people all the time, you can have the most beautiful window treatments and the most beautiful walls and this fabulous new roof, but if you have a shaky foundation, the first gust of wind that comes your way, that whole thing is going to collapse. So you need the 90 nutrients. That's just the foundation. And then depending on what's going on in your body, what your symptoms are telling you, we add additional nutrition to meet those specific needs. And we have a very specific protocol that we follow that will unplug those arteries. And let me tell you, when that happens, all of a sudden, people who haven't been able to urinate start urinating. Kidneys start to function a little bit. Doctors start to say, oh, what's going on here? I don't know what you're doing. I hear this all the time. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Because they start to see an improvement in their numbers as they, run the tests on persons, particularly those on dialysis. They start to see an improvement in their numbers. And they can't explain it. But they keep saying, okay, whatever you're doing, it's working, keep doing it. And we have seen, and like I said, I'm not just telling you based on what I've heard, but I have had clients who have actually been able to have their surgery canceled, already scheduled to have kidney replacement surgery. But after they gave their body what it needed to function and stopped doing the ongoing damage to the body, your body is this intelligent healing machine that knows what to do to fix itself. We just got to give it the support. So here is a clip with Dr. Wallach. This is from an appearance. He appeared on the show This Is Your Day with Benny Hinn. Those of you in the gospel community, Christian community, you're familiar with Benny Hinn. He appeared several years ago on Benny Hinn's show This Is Your Day, talking about this whole protocol that we use to help people to reverse kidney failure.
Listen, I know a young man in his 20s. Both of his kidneys stopped recently. I think he's doing better now. And it was a shock to me that why would a 20-something-year-old lose his kidneys?
Oh, eating fried foods, not supplementing properly. So I have a wonderful story for this is a God story.
Please tell me.
There's a man by the name of Tug. That's his nickname is Tug, T-U-G, like a tugboat.
Right.
He's 87 years old, and since he was 14, he hadn't urinated. He's been on dialysis for like 73 years.
Wow.
And we got him on our program for kidney failure. In 2 weeks' time, he's urinating. In 2 more weeks' time, he's totally off of dialysis. He's been on dialysis 6 days a week for 73 years. And in less than a month, he's off of dialysis.
How did you do that?
Well, this is a God thing, right?
I know, but how did God use you?
Well, we gave him the 90 essential nutrients. We actually have what we call the secret sauce for getting blood flow through little blocked arteries. Well, when you have kidney failure, there's nothing wrong with your kidney. That seems like an oxymoron or a paradox.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with your
kidneys. Then why did it fail?
Well, remember, I'm a pathologist, and so surgeons would bring me kidneys they'd take out of somebody with kidney failure, and I'd look at them and say, these are normal. Why'd you take them out? They say, he's got kidney failure. Well, it turns out there's nothing wrong with your kidney when you have kidney failure. What happens is the little microscopic arteries that carry the dirty blood into the filtering units are plugged. So your kidney function goes down, not because there's anything wrong with the kidney, it's just that dirty blood is not being delivered.
Wow.
So we get the circulation going in the kidney.
I have a family member who they say may have to have a kidney transplant.
Probably not.
What do you mean probably not?
Well, give me 90 days and we'll see.
I'll call and you can help him?
Yes.
He's a young man. He's related to me.
We do this thousands of times a year.
That you can prevent someone from having
a kidney transplant. We get them off of dialysis, absolutely. Because there's nothing wrong with the kidney most of the time.
Doc, put your hands on this Bible.
Yes, sir.
You promise that you can. Wait a minute. I've never done this on This Is Your Day. You're putting your hands on the Word of God.
Hands.
And you're telling me that you can help this young man that I know in my family, where he doesn't have to lose his kidneys or kidney right now, one kidney, with what you're going to do for him.
He has one good kidney, one bad kidney?
I think so.
Okay, that's easy.
That's easy.
This is the God stuff, right?
Okay, now you put your hand on the Word of God and you vow before God Almighty that you're telling the truth.
Absolutely.
I believe you.
Again, if I hadn't seen it myself, I would be skeptical as well. But I've seen this happen with my own clients. Now, here's the thing. People will often say, because in one particular client, she's a Bahamian, but she lives abroad. And how I came across her, someone sent me a WhatsApp message with a GoFundMe where she was trying to raise money for her kidney transplant. I'm not going to call her name. And so I reached out to the person who sent me the GoFundMe information, and I said, listen, I think that we can help her. Do you think she would be open to this? And he said, well, it's worth a try. And so he connected us. And she had a lot of questions. She was skeptical. She had a lot of questions. And one of the questions was, can you send me any video testimonials? Now, here's the problem. This is what you need to understand. In the United States, especially, they have made it illegal for a person who has had her experience where her kidney failure was reversed. It's illegal for her to make a video to say, this was my experience. Can you imagine that? Because there's not, how do I put it? There's not a fair medical market. In other words, the system has done an excellent job of convincing us all that there's only one authority when it comes to your health. And they've made it so that it is difficult for you to come up with a narrative other than what that one authority says. So it's literally against the law for her to make a video that says, I was on dialysis, I was scheduled to have my kidneys removed, this is what I did, and I no longer had to have the surgery. Can you imagine that? You would think that they would want people to hear this. But no, they made it against the law, because as far as they're concerned, there's only one authority. And that one authority is telling you that your only option is to stay on dialysis for the rest of your life, or get this kidney transplant, or die. And when cases like hers happen, because they can't explain it away, they say, oh, this must be a miracle from God, because it's not possible for this to happen. But that's not true. It happens. They just make it difficult for you to get the word out there. So believe me when I tell you, what often happens is we get a patient, a client, I should say, because I'm not a doctor. We're not trying to be doctors. But we would get a client on the protocol, and one of the first things that they talk about is this weird sensation in their back. I get the calls out of Miss Malcolm, I'm feeling something weird. Okay, describe it to me. This weird pulsating feeling in my back. I said, good. That means that those arteries are starting to unplug. Blood is starting to flow through them. So they literally get this pulsating feeling in their backs. Right? Next thing I know, I get another call. Miss Malcolm, I'm starting to urinate more. And then another call. Miss Malcolm, I'm really urinating now. It's amazing. Oftentimes, though, people sabotage their own efforts because they don't want to give up the bad foods. So the process could take a short period of time for some who are really serious about following the instructions and getting rid of all the bad stuff, or it could be drawn out for people who don't. Or if if you have some major damage, then it's going to take a little longer. But I'm telling you, if you stop doing the damage, if you heal your gut, if you get rid of the toxins, if you nutrify your body, give your body the 90 nutrients it needs, plus the other stuff that we would recommend for you to unclog those arteries, you will be shocked. And your doctor especially will be shocked when all of a sudden the kidneys that they say are no more good start to function again. God, in his infinite wisdom, created an amazing, complex, intelligent machine called our bodies that knows what to do to heal itself. Believe that. We just have to give it what it needs. We have to stop doing the damage, and we have to get the hell out of the way. And once we do those three things, give the body the nutrients it needs, Stop doing the ongoing damage to the body and get out of the way. You and your doctors will be in shock at how well your body knows how to heal itself. So I just want to leave this show today by giving you some hope. If you are a dialysis patient, or if you are an end stage renal failure, or if you even just have a toxic kidney or high blood pressure and any of that stuff, all of that can be addressed. All of that your body can heal. Your body knows what to do to heal itself. Don't believe the prognosis that there's nothing that can be done. That is not true. And I tell people all the time, what have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? You scheduled to have surgery. It's 6 months. I ask you to give me 90 days. What have you got to lose? Might be surprised, and within that 90 days, realize that you, like others, will be able to cancel that surgery and go on with your life. And for God's sake, people, if you are so blessed to be able to reverse this, don't go back to the same behavior that caused you to get it in the first place. That would be crazy. We're not talking about a quick fix, you get it fixed, and then you go back to being the way you were. No, we're talking about a lifestyle change that you will have to continue with for the rest of your life. So in other words, ain't no going back to eating the fried foods. Ain't no going back to eating the gluten, because that's what got you in this position in the first place. So we're talking a complete change of your lifestyle. And once you do that, and you teach your family to do the same, because right now, I got a call from one of my clients yesterday who's on dialysis, and she called to say that the doctors are now telling her that her child has protein in her urine, her child. And my thing is, did you change your family's diet when you change yours, or is it only you that's eating well? Because if they still eating the garbage, so make it a decision that you are going to do what you need to do to heal. And trust me when I tell you, your body will heal itself. All right, that's my time. I hope you got something out of this. Please like and share the show. Make sure to get this out to those who are battling kidney disease. And hopefully we've provided some hope today. If you are interested in doing a health evaluation, I'll go ahead and pin that to the top of my official Facebook page once again, so you can take that health evaluation. We can take a look at where you are and make some recommendations, and if need be, get you on that protocol to unclog those clogged arteries and get you back to good health. It is possible. Believe the diagnosis, but do not believe the prognosis. I'm Michelle. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another GPS.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests, and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.